everybody. Welcome to today's video. So what I want to talk about today is characters. So hopefully I have enough time to do this, but I actually have to go somewhere. So I'm hoping I can get this done in time. This should only take about 20 minutes to edit and stuff, and I can just let it upload while I'm gone. So I should be good. So today's episode might be short or long. I honestly don't know, but I'm anticipating that it may be long. But what we're going to talk about is characters. Anything and everything about characters. So, when a lot of people think about making their characters, they start from square one. And yeah, you should start from square one, but my square one is in a different spot. See, most people think, okay, what is my character like in the beginning? However, I work backwards when it comes to characters, and I know that makes you scratch your head a little bit, like, what? But when I create my characters, I don't know why I find this easier, I just do, so maybe it'll work for you. But I start backwards, and I think to myself, how do I want them to be in the end? And a lot of people have around the same answers, heroic, well-rounded, kind, caring, friendly, all of those good traits that you'd want to see in somebody. And that makes sense, that's good, that's fine, but, yeah, that's that. So that's one very important thing to keep in mind, is what you want your character to be like in the end. And the reason why I work backwards is because sometimes when I start with how the character is in the beginning, I accidentally already make the character kind of flawless. So that way, there's not much room for improvement, and by the end, the character's kind of the same. Like, when I go through my old fan fictions and stuff, I see that all the time, and I think to myself, oh my gosh, this was so good, except for the character development. And only if the character development would have been better, then this would be suitable for Wattpad. So that's what you need to think about. And I'm not saying just for fan fictions, this is for LPS, this is for animations, this is for everything. One super duper important thing is, for me anyways, to work backwards, because that helps your character have room for improvement. Because then I think to myself, okay, now let's totally put a battle ram towards this new character, and let's break it apart and think of ways we can destroy the personality now. So if at first I have a kind, loving, and heroic character, I can switch that up and maybe say, I don't like the kindness. What if he was selfish? Or what if instead of being heroic, what if he was kind of a coward? So, a selfish coward. Well, now we know what he's going to be like at first. But normally when you work from square one, you already think, okay, yeah, let's have my character be a nice guy. Let's have him have a lot of friends. And what you don't realize while you're doing that, because, you're so busy in thought, and you're not thinking to yourself, oh, crap, my character's already pretty flawless. And I'm not saying this is just a beginner thing. I'm saying anybody can make this mistake. I make this mistake. Everybody makes this mistake. Especially Wattpadders. I really notice that Wattpad people make this mistake way too often. So basically, work backwards. And another thing I want to just touch upon is when your character is expressing themselves, you can do it through the setting as well as what they're wearing. So in my last video / episode, I teased on how a character's way of dressing can show who they really are. If they wear a lot of black, you can assume that maybe they're a bit somber. They're kind of grim. Maybe if they're super colorful. Okay, there's two assumptions you can get from super colorful people. Maybe that's not my best example, considering the range of people that may be watching this video and the amount of people that I could trigger. So let's go with another example. Two people wearing the same necklace. Maybe they're sisters or maybe they're best friends, but either way, they have some sort of relation. So basically, whether it's how they individually dress or if they're wearing the same clothing article, it can express them. So always try and use your your outfit designs to express who your characters truly are. Like, I know I do this quite a bit. Yeah, I really like to do this. I just think it's easier. And what's in the background. For example, in my new series, I have a lot of manga in the background. There's going to be like anime posters all over my character's room because that's going to express them, okay? And when you make a series, make sure, and we'll touch up on this in another episode, but make sure, when you're making your rooms, if you're too lazy to wait for the next episode, just keep in mind, tailor your rooms to the LPS that's going to live in it. And think about that LPS's personality because their room should probably reflect that. If they're filthy, make it filthy. If they're clean, make it clean. Don't be afraid to show a bit of extra personality through these tiny details. I mean, even voice, if they have a British accent, then they're from Great Britain. And if they have an Australian accent, they're from Australia. Or, if they just speak like I'm speaking, you can assume they're from the U.S. So, yeah. Or maybe if they have, like, a country accent, you can just kind of assume, okay, they're somewhere in the country, like maybe, like, Georgia or something like that. So, yeah. Even voices can express, traits. Not necessarily personality, I guess. I mean, British doesn't count as a personality now, does it? But it does reveal things about your character. And do whatever you can to reveal things. That's very, very important. And another thing I want to touch up on is backstory. So in the description, I will leave a link to a video titled something along the lines of How Do I Create My OC's Backstory? Now, OC stands for Original Character, and it's not really about LPS series, but the rules I use in that video can be used for anything. Storybook characters, illustrated characters, and LPS. So that video, even though it's animated and I don't actually use LPS in it, it can still work. So don't be scared off by that. So if you're interested in backstory and you're not sure what to do, go to the link in the description. It's very, very helpful, or at least I hope it is. And if it's not helpful, then tell me. Tell me how I can improve it. So yeah, I think that's really it with characters and the reason why I don't have many tips for characters is because there's not a lot of ground rules for characters. I can't explain working backwards because that's how it is. I mean, there's no way to explain it. It just is working backwards. So, you can think to yourself how you're going to do it. And I'm not saying do the entire plotline backwards. I'm saying when it comes to characters, maybe you should have that planned out. Now, to be honest, and we'll get in the plotline later, like what specifically you should do rather than just the basic stuff. But I will be honest, I do tend to plan my ends before my beginnings because it helps me, because I know exactly where I need to be going. I have a general idea of the direction. Like, if I know so-and-so is going to be killed off, then I know, okay, I can't let the readers or viewers get too attached with the character, or maybe I deliberately want them to be attached, but normally you shouldn't screw your viewers over that much. I mean, unless you're really a jerk. And I'll admit, I'm not very nice to my viewers. I don't normally kill off characters just because my parents don't quite like that, but when it comes to writing and stuff, that's my favorite thing to do. I know, it's sad. But if you're not that type of person, then I guess that's just one less thing you have to worry about. So, yeah, I guess that's it. And with killing off characters, if you're not sure what to do about that, I can make an entire video about that, but I'm assuming you guys might not be thinking about doing that. But if you are, because you're a little evil like me, then, I don't know, ask a question or two, and if I see there's high demand for a video like that, then yeah, I'm the character killing expert, so I could help you. Trust me, my search history is nuts. Like, I remember one time I literally searched, how do you kill a person with a shovel? Like, I kid you not. And then another time, well, the same night, because I was writing this fan fiction, then I had to search, if I hit somebody in the head with a shovel, could I kill them, or would it only give them, like, a concussion? So, needless to say, yes, I cleared my search history after that. So, yeah. But don't be afraid to do research like that. I know it's a little weird, but it does help if you're into that. So yeah, I think that's it, because there's really not much to talk about with characters, because that's more of your own thing. Like, you really need to be let loose with characters, because there's not really much of a rule. The only rule is that they have to develop. Unless it's a character just there to die. I mean, and what's funny is, I've been writing for so many years that I can kind of catch when somebody's gonna die. Sometimes people spoil it and I'm like, what? And sometimes I kind of have that vibe, like, I'm not seeing this person develop, they're kind of staying the same. I don't think the author's gonna take them anywhere. Like main characters, they develop all the time because, they're developing for a reason. They're developing so that they get to the end. However, with background characters, they don't normally do a ton of developing because they aren't geared to make it to the end. The author knows, okay, I'm going to kill you in chapter whatever because you're worthless and you're kind of just there to be there. So it's funny whenever I catch that and I kind of like whisper in my ear, oh, I think so-and-so's gonna die, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, haven't you noticed they're kind of useless? But sometimes I don't catch it. And I like when I don't catch it because it's an interesting feeling. It's kind of, oh, crap, I wasn't good enough to catch it, but at the same time it's like, whoa, this is one heck of an author then. So that's nice. So yeah, but anyways, I told you all of that just to say this. If you are going to kill off a character, maybe try and, I don't know, create some illusion that the character's developing that's gonna die. Because people like me kind of, sometimes they seem to catch that. Don't make it predictable, make it really seem like the character is being developed. Like, the Maze Runner did this really well with this one character that's going to get killed off. My friend spoiled it for me, and when she told me this person was going to die, I was just sitting there like, what? What? And then I kind of went back, and I thought about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. He was just pouring his heart out. That wasn't development at all, and I was just, the light bulb went off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. The fact that I wasn't able to catch that. So, yeah, basically all I'm saying is try to maybe add extra emotions, Try to mask the fact that so-and-so is not developing by making it look like they're developing, by, showing extra emotion. Because a lot of times emotion and things like that, sometimes it evens out to development. I mean, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does, though. So yeah, try and create illusions. That's very fun to do. It's very fun to kind of, make your viewers watch something and be like, what? Why did this happen? And then think about it for a few minutes and be like, whoa, wait, all this time, and whoa, wait, this makes sense now, It's fun to see people get that reaction because you're just kind of sitting back in your chair laughing like, oh, I did a good job of not letting them know. So anyways, yeah, that's it for today's episode. There really is nothing more that I can say to help you guys because, once again, characters are a thing that you should really work on yourself. And it's a great way to really let your creativity loose. So yeah, that's all, guys. So remember, there's a link in the description for OC Backstories. Subscribe for more. Go to McDonald's.